Everyone, and welcome back to the Kevin and Greg Live podcast. And we have a really special guest today. We have Alex Mongeon, CEO of Vision Marine. As you know, we've had a few guests in the past talk about the electric boat industry, and we're really excited to kind of hear more. Obviously we see electric cars that is growing in popularity, and the boating side maybe a little slower than we like to see. And Alex is going to be here to maybe share a little bit about that. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me today, guys. It's a pleasure to talk with you today.
Excellent. Now, we're going to get into it in just a moment, but just want to make a reminder here. Our port event, we end our summer special where you can save $25 on tickets. It ends August 31st. So if you go to www.theportevent.com, it's a brand new website, has a lot more than just what we had in the past. You can get your tickets. We also have a little bit of preview of the schedule, speakers. If you're looking to sponsor, we have sponsorships available still, but we're expecting a big event. And I think, Kevin, I think last time we talked, we're expecting 350, 400 folks. So it's going to be excellent. We got about 70 sessions that we're planning, educational sessions. So definitely get your tickets, www.theportevent.com, and we'll see you there. So, Alex, let's just start off. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the electric boat side of things.
Yeah, with pleasure. So I'm an electrician by trade, so I know a bit about electricity. I could actually wire probably anything that needs electricity. And I was also racing boats, big speed boats. Last time I was racing with my wife, a 46-foot outer limit, and doing over 140, 150 miles per hour, and with my wife who's 5 feet, 100 pounds. And I like speed. I like disturbing the space where I'm competing in, and start brainstorming on how things could change if things were electrified. And back then, last time I was on one of those boats, it was in 2013 and 2012, 13, and electric cars were starting to show up on streets, but only early adopters and very rich people could own a Tesla back then. A bit like the space where I was actually racing boats. Some of those guys were having a Tesla, but they were not drivers. They were actually using those cars to look cool with their friends. So this is where everything start moving around in 2000, end of 2012, 2013. So that's the background. And from that, I start focusing and actually getting away much more than I wanted to from the boating space, the ice engine boating space, and starting to build smaller electric boats with the golf cart technology, those Duffy type of boat that most of the people are purchasing. But today we are actually building boats who are faster than ice engine boats. So we'll talk about that. I think we're gonna have a lot of questions for me, and I will be pleased to tell you when I came from and where we are. That's why I'm very close with Sean Torrente, 13-time world champion in the boating space. He's racing today with the Formula One boats. He's my driver, he's my friend, and we've been actually working on crazy electric boats. And he's the one who achieved 116 miles per hour with a boat that we've built from scratch, 32-foot boat that we also race. We're racing this week with ice engine with that same boat. So boats that we are propulsing with our motors are the same boat that could be pushed with the 500 Mercuries. So we're not doing anything special. We have a system that can fit any boats, and we'll discuss about that. I talk a lot. I'll let you ask me your questions, and I'll be pleased to answer them.
Where are you calling from?
Today I'm calling from my house in Delray Beach, but I was raised and born in Montreal, so sorry for my English, but I'm French Canadian.
No, look, man, a wolf amongst sheep by any other color, man. I see your painting in the background there, man. I like that, and I identify with you. I feel like on a couple different things, Alex, and so let's go into a little bit of that background here. So you come from Montreal, and please don't apologize. I think you got a great accent, by the way. And if I was in Montreal, I'd be the one with the accent. So yeah, thank you for joining us. So a little bit of background. How did you end up here in the States? Let's start at the beginning, if you don't mind.
We were building boats in a small shop that me and my partner Patrick, he was the co-founder of before putting Vision Marine's name on the company, was called Canadian Electric Boat because we were Canadian. And that small company was building boats since 1995. And Patrick and I were currency traders up to 2010. He got a kid with his wife. I got a kid with my wife. So both of them decided to sold the currency trading place that we had downtown Montreal. And we were home for 2 years taking care of our newborn. They were the same age with maybe 10 days different. And we were racing boats and having a good time. And we bought a building with the tooling to build boats. So we ended up owning the tooling of the fantail boats that we still sell and build today. And along the way, it was a joke at 6-7 miles per hour, but it was cool driving those things around because we're driving about 150 miles per hour. It's tough, and you don't want to. It's not a social environment. It's not a social activities. So we start working on that, building some of those small boats, doing a Fort Lauderdale boat show in 2013, bringing those boats around, and it picked up right away. Because people felt the passion, and we can talk with anyone in the world. We met that day the CEO of Riva, and I'm probably as knowledgeable as that guy who's building a bunch of electric boats, gas boats. Sorry, now they're building electric boats, Riva. But back then they thought I was crazy, and we came back to Montreal, bought a commercial condos, and started moving tooling and building boats. And at some point in 2014, I met Ian Bruce. He's an Olympic sailor and also a boat designer. And I met him after a boat race. I was holding out the 46-footer outer limit out of the boat ramp. And Ian Bruce was maybe 76, 78 years old back then. He was polishing small sailboats, those laser sailboats. And he was the founder of the laser sailboat and the owner. So everyone that knows about sailing, those laser sailboats, they have sold over 150,000 sailboats in 143 countries. So that old man was polishing the sailboat from his sailing team in Toronto, and I was pulling out the 46 outer limit, and he gave me a look that I didn't feel comfortable. So I parked the trailer after a boat race in the Thousand Islands. So that race was a few days ago. It was like 2 weeks ago in Montreal and in Toronto. So when I pulled out the boat, he looked at me and I felt bad. So I parked the trailer. So the truck and the trailer is probably 90 feet long. That thing is pretty big. And I went and talked to him. He says, "How much did you spend on during the race?" And I was ashamed to tell him the right number of money I've spent on fuel, not even maintenance, because those 1350 engines are $100,000 a piece to refurbish every 20 hours.
So, yeah, let me pause you here for a second. Let me pause you. So I want to go back to that exit. So you had a foreign currency exchange, your Forex, if we will, and you exited out of that to get into boating because boating was your passion?
I was home for 2 years taking care of the newborn. I want to enjoy life, and I ran into an opportunity to buy the tooling to build small electric boats, and we did it as just to start building boat just to enjoy life, because we were importing gas boats. Me and Patrick, my partner, for the past 7-10 years, we were importing boats. So during the crash of the boating space in 2007 and 8, and when in the US, where it was not good for us, it was great. We were repurchasing brand new boats from banks in the US, bringing them to Montreal and selling them because there's no boat manufacturers in Canada. So by the time I was driving and picking up a boat in Florida or in Georgia, it was sold before I was arriving in Montreal, and I was doing only new runs with pretty decent boats and expensive boats. And I was in the boating space as pleasure. It was never a business. But when we sold the business, then it says, you know what? My wife said, "I want you out of the house. I want you to find something." Yeah.
So you didn't have to do this business. Like, you could have been done. You could have retired at that point.
You have to be multimillionaire to end up millionaire when you're building boats.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and I don't mean to be super personal, but I think there's like a kernel of something interesting there, that where founders of great companies, even like Elon Musk, right? So obviously the comparison doesn't get lost, right? Like, there's a little bit of Elon in you. You kind of look a little bit like Elon, and I would assume that you like Elon Musk, right?
I love him.
Right.
That guy's a beast. He's a model for me.
Yeah, and I think about Elon. Have you read his biography?
Yes, the audiobook. I think I read it. I listened to it twice because what happened for me in the past 13 years, it's almost identical from all the challenges that he had. And could probably write a book that is maybe even crazier than he did. So yes, and I didn't do any of those actions for the past 13, 14 years now for cash because I was in a better position back then than I am now.
Yeah, because it goes without saying that Elon Musk didn't have to get into electric cars or rockets or boring or solar or any of it. He did it after he exited PayPal because he wanted to. When people ask Elon Musk, about his wealth and him being a trillionaire, he just laughs because he doesn't care about it. This is not for money for him, and it doesn't feel like. And don't get me wrong, if you have Elon's money, then right, nothing you do is for money. But to me, you don't strike me as a type of entrepreneur or man. Like you're more focused on the passion side of it. You love this business. Would that be right?
It's even crazier than that. I'm all in for one purpose is to show that to people that they were wrong and I was right at some point. And it starts to work. It's working, guys. It does work now because we're sold out on the electric boats. You cannot get one of those. 2 years ago, I didn't know what to do with them. I was inventory up to the roof, and I saw that thing 13 years ago. I was too small. I was not well organized, and the more I'm just focusing on that 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. And for me, I never work one day of my life. I love what I do, and I like to show to people that it does work. And
no.
Okay, well, we're real quick. 2 years ago, we had a show with Eric Pins on, and Kevin said electric boat rentals won't work. Yeah, these are exact words.
No, that's not what listen, I said they wouldn't work currently.
Currently, yeah.
A lot has happened in 2 years. All right. And so the measure of genius, okay, is to admit when something new comes into your spectrum that you can change your mind. And like Alex here, I am also a genius. We are both geniuses, just now on the side of Alex, and I now agree with him. But 2 years ago, and to this point, 13 years ago, how early are you, right? Like you're early.
Okay, listen to that. So if you're well seated, so you're gonna like what I'm gonna tell you. So we are in 2014, met Ian Bruce, gave me his business card, says drive by my shop, you'll see something crazy on Monday. So I drive by and I see an amazing boat, Hall mahogany boat, and fiberglass insertion. It's the Bruce 22. He gave me a ride in the St. Lawrence Seaway. We do 40 miles per hour. It's electric. We are in 2014. He wants to sell me the tooling and to build those boats. He says, no, I'm building smaller electric boats. I show him pictures. He says, yes, I'm the designer of those boats. So someone pay me, I'm the naval architect, and I design it. He says, yeah, you know what, I have a problem now. I cannot sell them anymore. Patrick is building them too fast and I can sell them. I don't know what to do with them. I was putting them on eBay. I was doing trade shows. It was tough. We were in 2014. Yeah. So he says, Google, use the computer that came with the business because he was helping the prior owners that fold the company. Google, and there's a few places in California you should go. So I Google and I find Newport Beach with an ad with boats from the prior ownership. And I booked the boat show in Newport Beach, bought 3 flight ticket and shipped 2 boats. And I ended up in Newport Beach, California. So we landed there. Boats are on the way to come by a big 53-footer. And I'm having a cocktail a few minutes after landing at SNA John Wayne Airport. And I'm at 333. That's the restaurant on the water. And I'm ordering myself a Gen 7-Up. And I cannot even drink the drink because I only see electric boats around. In 15 minutes, I saw at least 100 boats. I couldn't even sell 2 of them a month back then. That was Newport Beach. So there were 8,000 boats there. It says, man, this is crazy. Then I discovered that he had a rental operation back then. And that guy was building small electric boats since 1967 or 68. So in 14, I says, I need to be here. I need to start renting them so I can actually show them on the water. And I fought my way through and I was able to beat Duffy, who's the world's biggest electric boat manufacturer. He built over 15,000 of them. I got the best location in Newport Beach. I'm about 1,000 feet from him. And I learned the hard way because there's one boat ramp. And I also learned after shipping 10 boats the first shot that I was blocked at the boat ramp because Duffy was the mayor of Newport Beach. Building boats, changing rules and regulation at 5 miles per hour. And he was the one giving permits for operation like mine. So long story short, rentals operation was the way to go in 2015. So 2 years ago when you said, And as we speak today, we did over 80,000 rentals of those boats, and I was able to go public by showcasing boats in the water. So let's say today you want to buy a boat and you're not sure. I'll fly you to the rental operation. You'll drive that thing around for 2 hours. It might be on the house because I want to seduce you and I want to make sure you like it. And then you want to use one, pick one of those. We'll clean it. It will be shipped to you, or we can build you a custom one. So the model that was a bit like Tesla did back then, the car could only be test or drive by owners in malls and parking lots and stuff like that because they didn't have any dealership. So I started the business like that in 2015, and I signed the lease in 16.
So listen, do you know Zapata, Frankie Zapata, Zapata Racing?
Yes, the jet skis.
Yeah,
and the surf.
Sure. And so Frankie was a similar guy. Frankie really liked Elon Musk too, and he came out with the flyboard product, and he introduced it and a little differently, right? So you guys are selling electric boats to the recreational side, to the rental side. Your argument for the rental side is like, okay, so you can bring in these rentals, and then I'm going to say, well, who can wrench on them? And you're going to say, you don't need anyone to wrench on them. They're going to last longer, and they're going to do this, and you don't need a mechanic. This is why. And then the lifespan of the boat, and we're going to talk about cap rates, and we're going to, all these things. And this is why I'm going to spend 80, 90,000 or 50 or 40,000, however, when you start to scale, obviously, production, and then price goes down. And I don't disagree with it. I think right now you're, in my opinion, is probably a pretty good stage to start getting involved in it because the positive outcomes that are coming down the pipe are going to change what was historically negative, right? So the pros outweigh the cons, if you will. So so to speak, like with agentic software in another 5-10 years, you probably don't even need a boat driver because it's very simple to see, right? Like if you look at electric cars, then electric boats are not too far behind that. One day we're going to have electric aviation. Like this is, you can look in a historical concept through the Industrial Revolution, that through the advent of the internal combustion engine, that electricity would also be on that path, but probably even faster due to all the technology and all these things that we have. So I see the argument for it today. Now, you don't have to convince me. I think renting anything is kind of a difficult model, and business in general, right? But you probably think difficult is fun. I don't disagree with that. I had a heart attack 4 years ago, so difficult in me, I would rather take the path of least resistance. If I think like, hey, let's get back into Forex trading. And now
I will tell you why the rentals were very powerful for us, because as I told you, Patrick in Montreal was building them. I was playing the catcher in Newport Beach, receiving them and actually putting them in the water. But as soon as we started to have electric boats in the water, now we could educate the market. And the boat has 2,000 hours. It looks brand new, and they can have the touch and feel. So you have a showroom in the water. So it was the best tool to educate people. And now back then I started building pink boats for Susan G. Komen with the Breast Cancer Foundation. Duffy told me I was a queer and this and that, and I was ruining. And I'm 250, 6 feet. So long story short, I'm not queer. I like women. But I was doing that to support the Breast Cancer Foundation and stand up for the cure. And we gave them a ton of dollars. And every pink boats, we were giving them money back. And the lady became our customers. We did that with the Chuck Foundation Hospital, with baby blue boats, with teddy bears for kids who had mental challenges. So we were embracing different causes. And Duffy told me, you're the flavor of the month. Your faggot colors will never work. And now Duffy's building pink boats, baby blue boats. So I don't give a damn throwing him under the bus today, but that's what he told me in 2016, 17. He would shut me down. He blocked me at the boat ramp, couldn't launch my boats. One boat ramp in Newport Beach. Man, he gave me a hard time. And today, it's story. The action he did, it's a bit what the market was doing to us up to 2024. And now people are not saying electric doesn't work. Some of them say, oh, it does make sense. And some of them, I will never go back gas. It's so easy. It's not for everyone, depending where you are. I live in Intracoastal.
It's going to be for everyone. I mean, and I have changed my tune on that. Mostly just as I start to use more agentic software, and really start to look at where the technology is going. And Eric and me talked like just a few months ago. And I go, he's just like, I go, hey, how's everything going? And he's a young entrepreneur and he's grinding. And he's like, man, it's tough sometimes. I was like, hey, well, you were early. Like sometimes, like, and I don't have to tell you this. It's like, you got to pay a cost to be early. And sometimes you can be early with money like Elon, or sometimes you're going to be like Eric and you're going to bootstrap that shit. But either way, it's like really inspiring to watch both you guys and like to talk to another entrepreneur that, I mean, how old are you, Alex?
51.
You look great, by the way, man. Like, I mean, golly, man. I look like I'm 51 and you're 40. Like, you look younger than me. So maybe I do have to get electric boats in my fleet because the stress that I get from all this other stuff I do, man. Like, you look like you're doing. Actually, I'm going to get into Forex trading. What am I talking about?
And I just finished fighting a cancer as well. So imagine when I was not fighting cancer. So it's been 3 months that I'm cancer free. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! Congratulations,
hey,
man. God bless you, dude. That is amazing, man. Like,
So
wow, that is so awesome. So now, catch us up today. Like, what do you see the future of electric boats? Not even as it applies to rental models, but like, let's just talk about like what the future is. I mean, are we talking about self-driving boats here in the future?
I don't want to say I don't want to move the stock, but the biggest company that does those types of system, it's Hyundai, the car company and the cargo ship company. And we've been working with them on they have a system that's called Avicus. It's an autonomous system that move huge cargo ship with 500 containers on it. So we're working with them. So when you said earlier with the cars, today cars are I'm driving only electric cars except my old classic muscle car 59s and 65. They're not electric, but the new cars I'm driving for the past 7 years are all electric. So now the technology is so easy to install into our electric boats. It's tough for Avicus to put that thing with a Mercury or Yamaha ICE engines because there's so much, I would say, old technology and language. We're talking about the same language of communication with those autonomous systems. So those autonomous systems, when it's time to docks, you don't touch anything. That's the hardest part for a boat. It's like a plane. It's not to fly a plane, right? It's when it's time to land. Same thing with a boat. When you're arriving at a dock, the waves, the tide, the size of the boat, the cameras, the front, the back, it's too big. They're doing that with cargo ships. So imagine for them to put that thing on a small 31-footer boat. So follow us very carefully. You'll see one of those systems in the upcoming days or week.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. My business is boaters education, so I need people behind the wheel of these boats, man. So you let me know when you're going to put me out of business so I can exit to private equity and invest in electric boats and self-driving systems here. So I could be sitting at Delray Beach and wanting to get into some shit that I like.
And I don't want to influence any shareholders, but our motto is can't stop, won't stop. And as the second there's something that could increase the value of our electric system on a boat, we're on it. So tracking device system, information on your phone, giving you the actual range at the speed you're doing, and tracking your kids or your wife when they're boating. But as I mentioned earlier, electric boats are not for everyone because it's like electric cars. They're good around the city. If you want to drive 400 or 500 miles, my truck is doing 500 miles. But if it's to change the industry, the car industry, and the big 53-footer trucks that move foods around, we're not there yet. And I don't think it's going to happen. On the boating space, we're working also with hybrid systems. So each boats of 35, 40 feet have a small generator. Our system can receive the energy from the generator, so it becomes an hybrid system. So we never stop, and we've been only focusing on that. We don't do anything else, and we are using the rentals operation to gather data and have the touch and feel of the customers. You cannot afford a lawsuit or an unhappy customers running out of batteries on a rental operation in California. You're screwed. And over 80,000 of them, we're working on getting good reviews. That's our job.
Alex, why don't I hear more about solar? Now, I know solar can't power things, but like I would imagine it can power instruments or generators, but I don't hear a lot about that either in cars or electric boats. Is there a purpose for solar?
Yes, depending on the size of the boat and also the power. You do know, I don't know if you're aware of that, if Pinzon told you about that.
No.
Well, in 2023, we decided to go against our own record and building a fast boat, and we went from 109 miles per hour to 116. And I decided to also do the longest electric solar power challenge. So I've built a small Patrick built, because Patrick was the guy who was building everything in the blink of an eye. In 30 days, he built a pontoon, a 26-footer pontoons with a full solar panel hard, and we dropped it at Erin Pinzon's place. And I put my mother-in-law and father-in-law were like 70 years old chief of police, retired, and they used to go from the Hudson River to Florida. So they took the boat to Pinzon, so close to Statue of Liberty in New York, and drove that thing down up to Boca Raton, and we gave it to Four Ocean to Alex. I don't know if you met that guy from Four Ocean. He's collecting plastic bottles and
I know who
he
you're
cleans
talking about.
ocean.
Yeah,
I need
I
to
see
hook
the
you with this
videos.
guy. So we did close to 13,000 nautical miles on a solar charge, because
Wow.
but on the Hudson River they do 6-7 knots. So we were okay, but the voltage of that motor is a 48 volt. When you're running my Emotion, you're running on 700 volt. You would need a football field of solar panel. That's why you see less on our end the solar panel, if it's for rental operation or for trolling motors at 6 or 7 horsepower. Yes, we can put you a solar panel. It will be efficient for 8-9 hours of range. And the pontoon, if you want a solar pontoon, that will give you a week of range, eyes closed.
And so what is a comparable horsepower for one of your rental models?
Because we're limited on speed, because of, thank you, Duffy. He's changed the rules and regulation 40 years. It's all 6 miles per hour. And even here in Florida, where I am, from Palm Beach to anywhere in Florida, basically inland, you're probably at 95% of the time limited at no wake, so 6 miles per hour. I can floor the boat at up to 25 miles per hour for about 30 seconds, then you have to slow down. So when I'm driving some smaller, so if you want to go fast, you need to go offshore, and you don't go offshore with a 30-footer. You need to go offshore with a 40, 45. And so that's not our space. The space and the numbers of outboards sold in the US, these numbers are coming from National Marine Manufacturer Association. So it's over 330,000 outboards sold, and the average power is about 200 horse. You don't go offshore with a 25-footer boat with a 200. You can go that, but 15 times a year, it's too dangerous. You need a bigger boat with multiple engines.
Who are buying electric boats currently? Like demographics.
Smart. Okay, I always say smart and educated people. I'm saying that, and ladies, because today it's sad, but the alpha male cannot decide when it's time to buy a new car or a boat. If he wants to have the kids and the wife on the boat, he's gonna need to bring her to the dealership. We sell for $100 million of gas boats through our dealership, and if you're coming alone, we're losing our time. We want to see you. We want to see you with your wife and kids. So families are buying those boats. Ladies are taking the decision, and the gentleman gives his credit card. So people are sophisticated. Upstate New York, very good. New England, Florida, it's picking up. California, they're all aware.
But not all these boats are stuck at 6 miles per hour.
Oh, no. Now we would say it's half and half. Half are trolling motor boats, 6 miles per hour. And the other half, people want to do 25 to up to 45 miles per hour. But when you're a boater, even if you have a pontoon or you have a bow rider, you will do 45 miles per hour, like 2-3 minutes, because kids are having chips, ice cream, my wife is having a glass of wine. At 40 miles per hour, it will go all over the place, and they won't be happy. You want them to be happy. The only guy who enjoys it is the captain for a few seconds. So he wants to go back next weekend, so he needs to please the family. And he's having a good time. And when he has the right to push it at 25 miles per hour and the wife gives him the thumbs up, he push it and it jumps on plane like that because it's electric. He's got a blast. He can even talk with the wife and the kids at 25, 30, 40, 45, 50 miles per hour because there's no sound and it doesn't vibrate and it doesn't smell nothing. So if you do tubing, you can talk with the kids in the tube because there's no sound. There's no vibration. It's like on a sailboat, but at 25, 30 miles per hour. So the pontoons are a very good platform for that. And these are very family boats. And today pontoons are from 80,000 up to $500,000 because they make crazy nice pontoons.
Alex,
I need something with like a nice like electric version of like a 40-foot Everglades with like quad 400s on it. What do we got in the electric market on that?
We have the Sturk 31 twin engine, and that's the one getting the installation of the Abacus system. So it's at the marina. So if you guys want to stop by Fort Lauderdale, it's on water. You'll take that thing out. There's a bunch of videos online. So that's the Sturk. It's like an Axopar, but a German Axopar. Beautiful. Construction is amazing. 31 foot with twin engines. It has a lot of batteries. It has 4 batteries, and it does 45, 46 miles per hour. Eric Pinzon was driving that thing in Napa Valley 3 weeks ago with me.
Do you have a showroom and like a physical space where you, or like, let me understand your business model.
Okay, so I started by building small electric boats using car parts and stuff like that in 2013. Changed that model, stopped taking Tesla parts, going public and having real manufacturers selling me electric marine parts made for me. So we did 2 years of dyno testing with McLaren Engineering, passed all the certification, and did the acquisition of Nautical Venture, a large group of dealerships out of Florida. So now we have 8 dealerships in Florida that was number 1 dealer in 2024. So we sell up to $80 million of gas boats. So you're walking into one of our dealerships. We used to be the number 1 Axopar dealer in the world. So we sell Beneteau, Axopar, iField, pontoons. So you're going in with your wife and kids. You want to buy that Axopar 37 or 30, and then you see the electric version of it, or the pontoon, you want it with the Mercury engine, then okay, perfect. I'll sea trial the boat with you, that pontoon, that Starcraft pontoon. But hey, also try the electric one. So we've got distribution. So we are the largest vertically integrated manufacturers with dealership retail, I would say, in the world.
Wow, that's incredible, dude. That is so awesome, man. That's an amazing story, brother. Yeah, that's really amazing. And so I mean, where do you see yourself, I suppose? Like, I mean, firstly, like a thing you beat in cancer, that's amazing, man. I can't, you know what I mean? As having a guy who had a massive heart attack, in his 40s, like to see you do that, that's incredible, man. You seem like an incredible individual, man. So where do you want this to all go, man? Like, where the next 10, 20 years, what do you see for yourself?
I was seeing just before 2024, we were only doing direct sales to manufacturers because we did 25 different integrations. So 25 different brand new boats built by the biggest guy in the world. So Chris Craft, Barletta, Beneteau, Wellcraft, name it, we did it. So there's a huge wall in one of our showroom. It's 60 feet by 30, and you got a big wrap of all the boats we did, and there are huge boats on that wrap. So I was focusing on just selling outboards to a manufacturer like Beneteau, who builds 9,000 boats, announcing that by 2030, all their boats would be electric, and they made an order of 25 systems. So perfect, I'll do that then with Starcraft. I'll do that and then the market collapsed in 2025, like in 2008. So I was scratching my head, man, how I'm going to be able to survive. I've got so many motors in stock because those manufacturers after doing the integration. So when a manufacturer, Polaris is sending me, I became friend with Jake Vogel, and he was the CEO of Polaris. When he's sending you a pontoon, you put the engines in, then you do the design. Then you also have to have dealer meetings and start training their 400 dealers. You go to the dealer meeting with the boats, the engineering, they drive that thing, and then, okay, we're going to make an order, and then it stops. And all those relationships were built through an old man, a friend of mine, my mentor, Roger Moore, who used to be the owner of Nautical Venture. I met Roger in 2017, and he was the one presenting me to the CEO of Beneteau, Axopar, and those brands. So I was able to get those 25 integration because I was well connected with one of the biggest dealer in the US, that was Nautical Venture. And Roger, a year ago, had too much inventory. This is why I did the acquisition. So it was upside down. He had close to $100 million of inventory, floor plan to the roof, and he was 80 years old. So made a move, did the acquisition of Nautical Ventures, and I said, I'm going to use that dealership, that marketing machine, to convert it into half electric and half gas boats. Like any dealerships, car dealerships, you're going to the Cadillac dealership. Now you're going to have half the Cadillac electric and the other half gas. So I did the same thing, and I cleaned up Nautical Ventures, and it ended up that it was not a winning a win. It was not a winner or winning guarantee winning bet when I took over Nautical Ventures a year ago. But now we've cleaned the house, uh, and we're in very good shape. And the electric is taking over the gas into our dealership in the state of Florida.
I got a question for you, Alex. So we have a lot of rental operators that are listening to the show, and one of the objections Kevin made in our show 2 years ago is the refueling process. So if you're trying to turn a boat 2-3 times a day and you only have a 15-minute window to refuel, how do you solve that when currently, as I'm aware, that it could take 30 minutes to an hour to charge it to an appropriate level? Like, how are you solving for that currently?
Most of the boat that I sold before going public, my company was always profitable. Now, since we're public, the expenses are tough and we were developing and investing too much. So I was selling boats to rentals operations. I was traveling. I sold a bunch of them to Grand Palladium Hotel Group in Mexico, Mayacoba, and a bunch of other Hard Rock hotels. So I need to know your needs, and I'm going to sell you something. You need 8 hours. I'll put enough batteries in to do 8 hours. We did this weekend in California, we did 82 rentals of 2 hours with 20 boats. So they had an average of at least going out almost 3 times, if I'm right. I didn't do the math. We put 15 kilowatt batteries in, and the boat is consuming about 1500 watts. So we've got 10 hours, and we can tweak down those motors at 1000 watt. They give you about 6 miles per hour. So you'll get 15 hours of range. So during the day, we don't charge them. And at night, we charge them. It's overnight charge, and it will take 8-9 hours. It will be fully charged. So if you start, and it took me, I built probably 1500 of those boats, and I did 88,000 rentals of them. If you take something off the shelf and you're trying to do rentals or modifying it, you might hurt yourself. So you need to find the guy or the boat manufacturer that needs that. But if you want to do fast charging, fast boats, I don't think electric is good now, depending where you are, because the average boat club member from Carefree Boat Club and Freedom does about 9 nautical miles every time that they take a boat, and you got 2 rentals a day. 20 miles of rentals, I'm fine at even 30 miles per hour. I can sell you one of our boats with that in.
Yeah, a lot of folks, they just take them to like sandbars, and they're not cruising. They're not cruising the entire time. So in the winter, they cruise more because they're not swimming. So I guess it just depends on the seasonality of it. But that was one of the things that I remember Kevin brought up, and that's very well said. It just depends on the market, but you can build. Now, if I go to buy an electric boat to add to my fleet, is it all custom, or they can just purchase off the dealer floor? I mean, maybe explain that process. If I want to buy a fleet of boats, I'd say pontoon boats, or even I know there's some personal watercraft that I know Eric shared, and what is it called, Toga?
Yeah, we do sell about 2 of them a week. So I'm very close with the founder. I showed them how to do electric snowmobile back then, I think in 2014 or 15. So Samuel Bruno, the founder. So we're very close because they live about half an hour away from my shop in Montreal. So there's a lot of electric guys building electric stuff in Montreal. But we have most of the product that we have already have the relationship with the manufacturer. So if you want a pontoon, we'll get you something built in the US. So either one of the big threes that are building. I don't want to do any publicity, and then we'll install the system in, and you're good to go. And if you need,
and really quick, so you took over the company after it went public, or did you take the company public?
No, I did the IPO myself in 2020, and during cancer this winter, I did the TSXV listing as well. I had spare time.
That's crazy, man. So what is it?
What is it like? Yeah, what is it like to take a company public? That you're the first person on our show to do that.
With a high school degree, I'm hypersensitive and ADHD, and I have hard time with noise. But when I can isolate myself, I can probably do magic. And it was during COVID, so it was even crazier. I was freaking out because we had to hide ourselves to work and sell boats. And I did the IPO, and I did the road show. No camera, nothing. It was the first time, and it was NASDAQ, straight to NASDAQ, from nothing to NASDAQ. So it was a virtual road show in 2020, and I did that in November and went public, and couldn't ring the bell back then because we couldn't get out of the country. but then it was Times Square and everything that came with it. I've learned earlier to manage accounting in a very proper way. So when it was time to do the listing and everything related to being public, it was easy. And when you're building a 750 volt system, it needs to be as clean as your accounting and your documentation of crossing boats into the US and customs. So you have to, how can I almost say that in French? Pissing holy water. You need to piss holy water. And if you want to get a McLaren doing testing with your product for 2 years on a dyno shop and test those things, you cannot be half. You're all in, and you have to be straight.
Well, super interesting, man. Well, how can Alex? Thank you so much for joining us. How can people get a hold of you if they want to buy a boat? If they want to learn more about you, where can they find you, brother?
Tech side, it's called visionmarinetechnologies.com, so they can follow us on the tech side and all the new announcement of the new technologies and the product. And when it's time to buy, even gas boats, because you're not ready to get the electric one, we want you to come, see, trial the product with gas, but at the same dealership. It's called Nautical Ventures. We have electric product. We have most of our places are on the water. It's in Florida, East Coast, West Coast of Florida, and we also have rentals operation in California. So tech, Vision Marine Technologies. Boat, it's called Nautical Ventures, and rental, it's called EB Rental, and there's 2 locations in California to take care of customers on the water. So we want to be everywhere where you need to have the experience of electric boats and jet skis and surf and everything, because we have a toy store that sells, we have a 13,000 foot square toy store on the water that only sells electric toys. So sea bub, jet ski, surf, name it, we have it at the store. Fly pack, name it. And
well, if you find some time in October, come join us at the port, man, and we hope to see you out there again. And man, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah,
I think I'm gonna send you the invite instead of, you'd have to come down to Florida, and I want you to touch and feel all the electric products we have and the one we also build, because we are on the water, so you can actually tell people how it is, how cool it is.
I live in Florida. What are you talking about? I live in North Florida, man. I'm down there. I got clients down in Delray and Miami. I'm down there through you low guys, down there through South Florida all the time, man. Well, yeah, man. After the show, kick me over your contact info. I'd love to come down to your showroom and see what you got going on there, man. I would want to have lunch with you, man. You seem like the most interesting guy in the world.
There's pretty good stories. So, I forgot about another thing. So we also have a race shop on the west coast of Florida. But just to come back, we have a marina in Dania Beach, and it's a 10.5 acre marina with a huge test hub for EV. So this is where you can see trial all the electric toys we have, and we always have at least 3 to 6 electric boats on the water that can be used by customers. So pontoons, bow riders, twin engine, single engine. So you just have to stop by the marina. It's on Anglers Boulevard. You can see it from the 95. It's a huge marina. It's 10.5 acres, and all our electric, let's say, test boats or new prototypes are being tested from that location. And a few minutes away, we've got store that you can see also the product offering.
Will do, brother. Thanks so much for joining us, man. And yeah, as always, Greg, you want to sing us out of here?
Keep it awkward.
Keep it live.
Keep it live.
Now we're dragging.
I want to fight it. We
say keep it awkward. It doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense. Perfect. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next.